Hi friends, Miss B here. Welcome to Tuesday, April 14th's reading lesson today. We are going to focus on page number, let me pull it up for you. In our reading packets, we are going to focus on page number 18. So I'm going to give you a second to flip to page number 18 inside your reading packet. Page number 18 has a story that's titled Pecos Bill and the Mountain Lion, a tall tale of the Old West. You might be asking yourself, what in the world is a tall tale? Well, it's a certain type of story. I pulled up a poster for us to take a look at. A tall tale is a story about a person who is bigger than someone could really be in real life. These stories, tall tales, involve a lot of exaggeration. Now, it says something about a character who's bigger than someone could really be in real life. What they mean by that is sometimes in tall tales, the characters are actually giants. Okay, but other times the characters aren't actually giants in tall tales. When they say that they're bigger than someone could be in real life, what they mean is that the person does things that we can't do in real life. That's called exaggeration. Exaggeration is when you take something and you stretch the truth just a little bit. So let me give you an example of exaggeration. I could say that I caught a fish this weekend in the pond that was as big as the school. Do you think that my fish was really as big as the school? No. Did I catch a fish? Yes. So what I'm doing is I'm taking something that was true, but then I'm stretching the truth just a little bit to make it sound even crazier when I said that it was as big as the school. So we're going to read Pecos Bill today, and while we're reading, I want you to keep in mind that this is a tall tale, which means it's going to have a lot of exaggerations, a lot of things that couldn't actually happen in real life, which is what makes it a tall tale. I'm going to flip back to our text. I'm on page 18, Pecos Bill and the Mountain Lion. I'm also going to have you get your pencils ready to do some underlining for me. I'm also going to be doing some underlining of the details that I feel like are most important in the story. So I've got my pencil ready and I'm ready to dive right in. All right, we're going to get started on our first paragraph. Almost everybody knows about Pecos Bill. He was born in Texas a long time ago. He grew up with a pack of coyotes. Now I want you to remember what I said about tall tales and how they like to take the truth and stretch it and say some crazy things. Do you really think that a grown man could be raised by coyotes? So Pecos Bill grew up with a pack of coyotes. He was one of the toughest cowboys in the West. I think that that's probably going to be a pretty important detail. I found out that he was a tough cowboy. All right. I just took my pencil and I highlighted that. You're going to underline it by putting a line underneath. Pecos Bill had a horse named Flash. He treated Flash like his best friend. But Bill didn't just ride horses. He could ride anything that came along. That might be important, actually. Before I move on, I think I might highlight that. He could ride anything that came along. All right. One day, Bill was riding Flash. Remember, it says that Flash was his horse. Through the mountains, a giant mountain lion jumped out in front of them. A mountain lion is kind of like a regular lion, just looks a little different. So they're riding through the mountains and a giant mountain lion just jumps out right in front of them. The big cat growled and showed its sharp teeth. Bill jumped off Flash and sent him home so he was safe. Remember, I've got my pencil to underline any important details. In this paragraph, a lot is happening. Bill and Flash are riding through the mountains, and all of a sudden, a giant mountain lion jumps right out in front of them. I think that's a pretty important detail if a large mountain lion jumps right out in front of you. The big cat growled and showed its sharp teeth. Bill jumps off of Flash and sends him home so he is safe. Last paragraph. Was Bill scared? Of course not. He grabbed a rattlesnake and made it into a lasso. A lasso is that rope that cowboys use, and they twirl it around and they throw it at the cattle. So what he does is he grabs a rattlesnake and he makes it into a lasso. So here he is, he's got this rattlesnake and he's twirling it around in his hand. That sounds like an exaggeration, something that probably couldn't really happen in real life. It also sounds like a really important part of the story. He grabbed a rattlesnake and made it into a lasso. Then he threw the lasso over the mountain lion and pulled it in. The cat knew it was no match for Big Bill, so it gave up. Quickly, Bill jumped on the mountain lion's back. Then he rode the mountain lion all the way home. Okay, there is so much exaggeration, some crazy things happening in this paragraph, and I know they've got to be important to the story. The first thing I underlined in this paragraph was that he grabbed the rattlesnake and made it into a lasso. The next thing that I think is the most important thing is Pecos Bill threw the lasso over the mountain lion, and then he starts pulling him in. Bill jumps on the mountain lion's back and rides him all the way home. Whew, okay. Now, so far, we've got some important details underlined from the text. First important detail, Pecos Bill was one of the toughest cowboys in the West. He could ride anything that came along. One day, a giant mountain lion jumped in front of him. He grabbed the rattlesnake, made it into a lasso, threw the lasso over the mountain lion, pulled him in, and jumped on his back. He rode the mountain lion all the way home. Okay, we've got the most important details here. We're going to remember those important details because they're going to help us with the writing portion of our assignment today. Before we get to the writing portion, we have a few questions that they'd like us to answer. On page number 19 in your packet, it asks, which sentence tells something that happens in the middle of the story? So which one of these happens in the middle of the story? A, Bill grew up with a pack of wolves. Let me go back to the text on that one. Here I see the sentence, Bill grew up with a pack of wolves, and I'm noticing that it's at the beginning of the story. So that's not going to be an answer that I'd want because it's something in the beginning of the story. I'm looking for something that happens in the middle of the story. B, Bill was born in Texas a long time ago. Okay, going up. He was born in Texas a long time ago. That was also at the beginning of the story. Nope, can't be B. C, Bill sends Flash home to keep him safe. Let me go and check. Okay. Let's see, in paragraph 3, it says, Bill jumped off of Flash and sent him home so he was safe. I see that sentence and that detail is not at the beginning of the story. It's not at the end of the story. It's in the middle of the story. So I'm guessing that the answer is going to be C. The last one, just to go over it just in case, it says Bill rides the giant mountain lion back home. I remember that he rides the giant mountain lion back home at the very end of the story. See, it's at the very end of the story, so that can't be the answer either. Question number 2. Why does Bill grab the rattlesnake? Does he grab it A, to use it like a rope to catch the lion? B, to save the rattlesnake from being hurt by the mountain lion? C, to stop the rattlesnake from scaring his horse, Flash? Or D, to try to scare away the mountain lion with it? I remember, why does Bill grab the rattlesnake? If I go back up to the text, I remember this happening towards the end of the story, so I'm going to go back to the end of the text and reread that last paragraph. Was Bill scared? Of course not. He grabbed a rattlesnake and made it into a lasso. He threw the lasso over the mountain lion, pulled him in, jumped on his back, and rode him home. So, to answer that question, why does he grab the rattlesnake? He grabs the rattlesnake not so the rattlesnake can scare away the mountain lion, not to stop the snake from scaring his horse. Remember, it says in the text his horse was already sent home. To save the snake from being hurt by the mountain lion, I don't think that had anything to do with why Pecos Bill grabbed that snake. I think that he was trying to use the rattlesnake as a lasso, which is a rope, so that he can catch the mountain lion. And did he do it? Yes, he was able to catch that mountain lion. All right. Question number 3 is one that I'm going to have you answer to someone next to you. What does Bill do when the mountain lion jumps in front of him? Well, if you're not sure, I always recommend going back into the text and finding out where the mountain lion jumped in front of Bill. I see that happened in paragraph number 3. One day, Bill was riding Flash through the mountains. A giant mountain lion jumped out in front of them. Ooh, now I'm going to listen to hear what happens after the mountain lion jumped in front of them. The big cat growled and showed its sharp teeth. Bill jumped off Flash and sent him home, so he was safe. Question number 3 asks, what exactly did Bill do at first when the mountain lion jumps out in front of him? So go back into paragraph 3 and find out exactly what Bill does when that mountain lion jumps out in front of him. All right, number 4 is actually going to take us to a new page. You're going to write your answer to number 4 on page number 20. Number 4 asks, read the end of the story. Tell the most important things or events in order using your own words. So they want us to go back to that last paragraph and tell what the most important things or the most important events that happened in the story were. It also wants us to use our own words. That's called retelling or recounting what happened, when we use our own words to tell what happened in the story. So we're going to go back up to page number 18, and they want us to look at this paragraph right here, paragraph number 4. That's the end of the story. In your own words, I want you to write down exactly what happened in order, the most important details that happened in the story in paragraph 4. Let me get you started. I would say to begin this paragraph, the first most important detail that happened in the story was that Bill grabs the rattlesnake and makes it into a lasso. So that was the first important thing that happens in that paragraph. So I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to start off by writing the most important thing that happened first in that paragraph, which is Bill takes a rat. You know what? I'm just going to say snake so it's faster. Takes a snake and turns it into a rope, because remember, a rope is the same thing as a lasso. You'll also notice I use my own words. I didn't copy straight from the text. I use my own words, which is exactly what we're supposed to do when we're recounting or retelling the story. The next thing that you're going to do is go back to page 18, continue to read paragraph number 4, and tell me the next most important thing that happened in the text. You're lucky because we already went over and underlined a lot of those important details in paragraph number 4. So that should really help you when you're writing your recounting or your retelling for your answer. All right, friends, that's all we have today for the reading portion of our lesson. If you have any questions, reach out to me and have a wonderful day.